Happy to be joined by the Super Bowl champion, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. Patrick, I think when I knew I was going to be talking to you, the one thing I was really dying to ask you is something I asked Eli Manning after he beat New England in the Super Bowl. Now it's 8 years ago. He made a pass in that game, an absolutely perfect throw to Mario Manningham that traveled 48 yards in the air, and it looked like if there was only one place in between two Patriots that the ball could go, and he completed it, and that was the key play in them winning the game. And now when I think of you and I think of that Super Bowl, I think of 2-3 jet chip wasp. You know, the play that obviously everybody knows. It's 3rd and 15, midway through the fourth quarter. You're down by 10, and you've got to make something happen. I wonder now, when you look back on that play, what do you remember about it?
Yeah, well, it was first off, it was a play that we had worked on specifically for that type of defense. Not necessarily that moment, but in a 3rd and long situation that we were going to try to get called, or a first down situation. We were trying to find a situation where they weren't pressuring, where they weren't bringing anybody extra, and that was the time. And we were able to call the play at a good time where the offensive line gave us good protection, and then Tyreek ran a heck of a route where he was able to run all the way across the safety's face and then back towards the pylon. And I just was able to put it out there far enough. Wasn't as good as Eli's throw. Eli's throw was money on the sideline there. But I got it down there enough that we were able to change the momentum of the game and then find a way to go get on a touchdown and then get another drive and get a touchdown and win the Super Bowl.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Eli Manning about a week after the game. How does it feel in one of the biggest points of your life? You're down in the fourth quarter in the Super Bowl. You have to make something happen right there. You made it happen right there, same as Eli Manning did 8 years ago. What does that feel like to you, and what do you think it says about Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I'll be able to have that memory forever with my brothers, with the guys that have went through the adversity of finding a way to win together. And so, I mean, obviously it's a play that will get remembered for a long time, and it's cool to be a part of history in that sense. But it was something where it was just we all together came together and were able to make a play in a big moment that will live on in the Chiefs kingdom forever. And I'm excited that I was just a little part of it.
How often in this offseason did somebody come up to you and mention 2-3 jet chip wasp?
Dude, it was a ton of people. They were making T-shirts. They were doing all type of different stuff, hats, and all type of merch and memorabilia about it. And so it was really cool. And I'm just glad that we were able to do it because, I mean, it was at a big point of the game, and we were able to find a way to win the Super Bowl, and that's the most important thing.
Let's talk a little bit about a couple of off-season events. Number one, the pandemic. What would you normally have done in the off season that you weren't able to do because of, social distancing and staying away and wearing masks and things like that? What couldn't you do because of the pandemic?
I think the only big thing that I couldn't do was I wasn't able to work out at the gym that I worked out at all the time. I was able to a little bit during the off season towards the season and obviously at the very beginning. But I had to find a ways to work out at home. At first I was in the Airbnb, and so we were ordering the resistance bands and doing push-ups and pull-ups or whatever you could find. And it was just the old school workout, running around the neighborhood with the mask on and doing everything like that. And then I was able to buy a house in Dallas. And when I bought a house in Dallas, it had a weight room, and we had the full setup, and I was able to work out there. But other than that, I mean, my off seasons are pretty consistent. I went on a few trips before everything got crazy. I went to Pebble Beach, and I went to Bandon Dunes and got to golf a little bit. And usually in my off season, all I do is work out, and then I play golf, and then I just kind of chill at the house and maybe play video games or hang out with my girlfriend and my dog. So I'm someone that usually is at home anyway, so it was pretty normal in that sense. Obviously, not normal with everything going on in the world, but it was able to stay home and just hang out with everybody that I usually hang out with.
You also, there was just a minor issue of becoming the highest paid player in the 100-year history of the NFL and signing this contract that was incredibly eye-popping. When you think of a contract like that and the money you're going to make, what is it about the money that you think that you're going to buy that you never, ever would have bought in your life?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something that like crazy that I'm going to buy. That's something that I wanted to buy. Like whenever I was kind of growing up, obviously the things that I can get. I mean, I get like cars that I want to get. I can get the houses that I want to get. But obviously for me, it was about building generational wealth and building wealth for my kids and then my kids' kids. And I thought it was cool that now I'll have that security, knowing that whenever I leave, that my family will be taken care of. And so that was the main part of it, and that's why I was happy with my deal and happy that I'll have that financial security for a long, long time.
I thought it was really interesting that you were a part of the players' video that Mike Thomas made, that he sort of orchestrated, and you were a part of. Jamal Adams, several players were a part of it. Take me into that, because it happened on a spur of the moment where it's players basically saying, listen, Black Lives Matter, we want respect, and we want the NFL to say, in essence, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Mike Thomas was the one who brought me the idea and showed me kind of what he was thinking. And obviously with everything that was happening at that time with the George Floyd murder and everything like that, we knew there was something that we needed to do and we needed to say in order to get the response that we wanted from the NFL. And I think the video that we made, it helped kind of really activate and really continue the conversation and really take that next step of we need to take action, we need to do something. And I think that's what you're seeing now is the action that's coming a part of it from us, the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Rise to Vote campaign, and we're trying to get everyone registered to vote, and other things that we're trying to do that hopefully we can announce here soon, and then other things that the NFL's doing of trying to find ways to give into the Players Coalition and everything like that. We're just trying to make sure that we can take action and don't let this moment be forgotten of what happened throughout this offseason, and that football is obviously super important, but helping out the world is more important, and we're going to try to do that every single day.
Do you remember where you were when you saw the George Floyd video for the first time and what you thought when you saw it?
I was actually just at home, and I remember watching the video, and I couldn't even finish watching it. I had to stop and just kind of shake my head and think about what I was seeing. And I think that's kind of how everybody was. I mean, everybody knew that wasn't what was supposed to happen. Whenever we come into those altercations, we don't want to end with someone's death. And I think that's what people really saw in that video was him just pleading for his life and his life, losing his life right there on the street, and something that I'll forever remember, and hopefully we can keep from happening again.
I thought what was interesting about that video is that it was many of the biggest names in the game. This was not just, for instance, your activist players, but who might not be quarterbacks, because honestly, in the past, a lot of the huge names haven't really wanted to put their necks out there like that. And the way you did, and particularly, you didn't just say the words. I mean, you were passionate about the words. So tell me a little bit about that and what it actually means to you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me to be a part of that video was that obviously I love football, but I love trying to make the world a better place even more. And I think growing up how I've grown up and having a black dad and a white mom, I never was treated any differently. And I feel like no one should be treated any differently, no matter where they come from. And I know that with my platform, that I have the ability to speak out, and people will listen, and people will at least listen to what I'm saying. And they might not agree with everything that I'm saying, but they're going to listen. And I think having that platform, it's my job and my duty to do that, is to speak up. And I think that just comes with the trust that I have with the Chiefs, is that they believe in me, and they know that I'm going to think about whatever I say. And I'm going to do the right thing. And I think having people that I've grown around and been around, and then having an organization that trusts me that I can be who I am every single day, and I will do whatever I can to be the best person every single day.
Not all fans want to see their superstar quarterbacks be very socially aware and outspoken and socially conscious. Are you ready to take the scorn from some that certainly is going to come as you stand up and talk about, hey, everybody's got to vote, and standing up and saying very stridently Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people either way, and I've noticed that throughout my whole life, and I've had a great perspective throughout my whole life of seeing my dad playing in New York on the Mets, and they're writing bad things about him, or people are booing him because he throws one ball, and then knowing how to have thick skin and not listening to that, and really just understand what type of person and player that I am, and that he was, and that everyone is, and knowing where my values are and how much I care about people. More than I care about playing on Sundays. And so I'm going to go out there and be the best person that I am every single day. Hopefully I have the support of all the fans that have been with me since the beginning. And if I don't, then those fans weren't true fans of Patrick Mahomes. They were just fans of what I did on the football field. And so I really respect the people that are going to, whether they have the same beliefs with me or not, they're still going to support me for the person that I am every single day.
I want to ask you one other thing about your off season that really I thought was kind of cool. I don't know what share of the team you own, but you bought a partial share of the Kansas City Royals. And my first thought was, man, I bet Patrick would rather be playing for the Royals than owning the Royals. So tell me what went into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I have a love for baseball. I've always loved baseball since I was a little kid. Never thought I would be on the ownership side of it. Thought I'd be playing for the team, obviously. But no, it was a thing where, obviously, we're playing football. I play football. I love football and love everything that it's given me, the opportunities that it's given me. But I wanted to do something to be a part of baseball. And I thought the best way to do that without making everybody in the Chiefs organization mad was to be on the ownership side of it. I was able to talk to the Shermans, who own the majority owner of the Royals, and we had talked to it for about a year since they kind of taken ownership of the team, and they wanted me to be a part of it, and I was super excited to be a part of it, and now I have a small stake in there, but I was able to be a part of the Royals organization, and they've won a championship in I think 2015, and now they're building something again, and so I'm excited for the journey and to be able to be a part of it, and hopefully be able to maybe hit some like BP or something one day, or just get out in the field and see what's going on.
So it's interesting. In Kansas City, it's sort of an old-fashioned sports complex. Mm-hmm. You've got Arrowhead Stadium, and then across a big parking lot, there's Kauffman Stadium. So they're both right there. So when you come into your complex, you can look over and see the baseball park. I wonder, do you ever look at that baseball stadium and think, man, someday I wish I could do that?
No, yeah, I for sure look at it, and not even just me. I mean, me, Travis Kelce, and Anthony Sherman, our fullback, all of us talk about like, oh man, like our back in the baseball days of being able and trying to be at the K and Kauffman Stadium, and you see the crown over the top of the scoreboard. And you're like, man, that's a historic stadium. You remember Bo Jackson running up the wall out there and throwing guys out from the outfield and everything like that. And so, obviously, probably won't be able to live those glory days up again. But maybe be able to go out there and try to hit BP and hit a few home runs over the fence or something like that.
One other thing about, your off season, I wonder, of all the things that you missed about football because you couldn't have an off season program, is there anything in a football sense that you weren't able to do this off season that you really kind of missed?
Not necessarily. I mean, I got to work out with the guys a little bit through some high school fields and stuff like that in Kansas City. But I think the biggest thing that you miss is just not being in the football shape, and I think that it's more for the kind of the receivers, DBs, linebackers, guys who run around a lot. I mean, no matter how much you work out, you're not going to be in that football shape, and I think that's why we had this acclimation period. For guys when they got back to try to do whatever they can to get themselves in football shape as quickly as possible. And you're seeing it now when guys are coming back. Guys' legs are we started a little earlier than everybody else, but guys' legs are finally getting underneath them. They're able to do what they usually do. And now it's about execution and trying to execute and try to get yourself ready to go for that first game. I mean, we got a tough challenge coming out with the Houston Texans, who are a great football team, a playoff football team for the last few years. And we understand that they're going to present a great challenge for us. And I'm excited to get back out there on the field.
Players work on things in the off season, and even after you've won a Super Bowl, I'm sure you say, man, I want to get better at X. Give me one or two things that you've really focused on this off season, even if they're little technical things that you've really worked on to try to get better as a football player.
The biggest thing to me, I think, has been trying to diagnose defenses even quicker. I think that's something that I got a great challenge out of these first 2 years. Is the only knock about having such a good offense these first 2 years is we get to see several different defenses every single year, and every single game, and different defenses that we scout for, different defenses that teams have played the entire year. And I'm trying to do my best job of being able to diagnose that quickly and being able to make the adjustments in time. Now, if you look at games like the Colts last year, whenever we played them early in the season, they came out with a defense they hadn't played since that regime had been a part of there. And so we were kind of taken off guard. We scored low points, then they ended up beating us. And I want to be able to make those adjustments quicker and be able to go out there and have success at a faster pace. And so that's stuff that I've been looking at, of trying to find different ways to make adjustments on the sideline quicker. And hopefully that'll pay off, and we'll see whenever the games come.
I think one of the cool aspects of your team is how, with few exceptions, like Duvernay Tardif at guard and Damian Williams, at running back, you're a lot. You return almost all of your main guys. But I also think that after watching the Super Bowl and after seeing some of the NFL Films footage afterwards, it is really important that you still can walk to the sidelines and see Eric Bieniemy. And I know personally you wish that he was a head coach. I get it. But you got Bieniemy, you got Mike Kafka, and obviously you've got Andy Reid. Tell me, if you can put into words, what is the comfort level of knowing that when you come to the sidelines this year looking for your new two-jet chip Wasp, what is it like to have those guys there?
I mean, it's amazing for me. I mean, obviously, like you said, I wish and I know that he should have been a head coach already with Coach Bieniemy. But at the same time, to be able to be here still and help me out, and at those moments like the Super Bowl, I'm able to talk to him and ask him, hey, do we have time to run Wasp? And know that he gets that play to Coach Reid, and we call that play in that situation because of the trust that we have with each other. I think it's special, and I know it's special. And when I talk to guys like Chad Henne or Matt Moore, who've been in different systems, and they see how special it is that we have Coach Reid, that we have Coach Bieniemy, and then Coach Kafka, and all the other coaches that are in every single room that we have, and how they all are a part of the same plan and all kind of think as one mind. I think that's special, and it's something that I'm not going to take for granted. I know how special it is.
What did you think when Eric Bieniemy called you a competitive prick?
No, it's just true EB. I mean, that's how he is, and I think the best part about it is he's exactly the same way. I mean, he has that fire, he has that passion, and it gets the best out of everybody. And he's going to hold everybody accountable. And if you know, I mean, you come to a Chiefs practice. I mean, it's like a game out there, and you have the Honey Badger, you have Frank Clark, Chris Jones on the other side, and you have me, Tyreek, Travis Kelce, all these guys, and we're going at it every single play. And I think that's what gets the best out of every single team. You have to have guys that are going to treat every single practice play like it's the 3rd and 15 in the Super Bowl.
Two other things. Everybody says that after they sign a big contract, oh, you know what, the money's not going to change me. I don't play for the money. But I sometimes say, oh, come on. You've got to go to bed at night and say, okay, a little bit, all right, I've arrived. I mean, how do you prevent yourself from getting fat and happy?
I've never even thought of the money as something that was the end all be all. For me, it's all about trying to leave a legacy. And I know that I'm still early in my career. But I think that I'm going to do whatever I can to keep trying to win and keep trying to set the bar even higher. And I think I'm in a great situation where I have a great coaching staff around me. I have a great organization around me, and I obviously have great players around me. And so I'm going to do whatever I can to execute every single day and not take that for granted. Because if you look at the careers of a lot of different guys, I mean, guys that have started hot. I mean, guys have built throughout the middle of their career, and guys have ended their career and won Super Bowls. But I want to be able to go out throughout my entire career and be able to never take a downfall or a hiccup. I want to make sure that we keep building and I keep progressing every single year.
You know, in the off season, every year NFL Network puts out its top 100 players. And this year you were ranked number 4 on the list, and there were 2 quarterbacks ahead of you. And I just wonder, when you first heard that, and look, you know and I know that this list is not exactly the be-all, end-all list, you know, of the absolute truth. What did you think when you were rated number 4 on that list?
I mean, obviously, you want to be ranked number 1. I think everybody does. But like you said, you understand how the list is made. You understand when it's made throughout the middle of the season, kind of right after I was injured. But at the same time, you want to be on top. And so I'm going to do whatever I can this next year to try to be on top of that list whenever it comes out.
And we'll end with this. So, you know, the regular season starts now in a little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, how much mystery is there in your mind? Do you think, man, I wonder if we're going to be better? I wonder if we're going to be as good? In this weird off season, not being able to practice very much, not having much contact, even though you are all together again, what kind of team do you think you'll have?
I think we're going to have a great team. Obviously, losing Damian and Larry, I mean, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but at the same time, we added a lot of great players with Rimmers and Clutch Yosemite, and then the guys that were getting back from injury last year, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and so and DeAndre Washington as well. So we have a ton of guys that we're adding to try to do whatever we can to make up the production that we did lose. And I think the offense is going to keep rolling and keep getting better with Coach Reed coming up with new plays every single day. And then I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think it's going to be special to have that defense. You saw how they were playing at the end of the year last year. And I think that just comes with all those guys getting comfortable with each other and getting comfortable with Coach Spags' system. And I think when you look at Coach Spags' system and you see how well that the defenses get after that first year of learning all the different things that he does, I think you're going to see a special defense, and hopefully our offense will keep progressing and it'll be a special team.
You confident about making it through the year with COVID?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the biggest thing about the coronavirus and COVID is you have to accept the challenge every single day. And I think the guys understand that, or at least the guys that I've been around. And we're going to make sure that we hold each other accountable, and that we're not only playing football, a sport that we love, but we're going to try to show that we can do this and we can progress as a nation throughout this time if we do it the right and the safe way.
Patrick Mahomes, really appreciate you taking all the time. Good luck. Have a fun year.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.